All right, so now we're going to talk about some core values. And one of the first core values that I want to present is about being proactive. And as you watch the videos here, I would recommend that you take out a notebook and take notes. And I'll try to provide some bullet points that you can remember below the video that you can reference. But the studies have shown that just watching videos, you're not going to internalize concepts. Taking notes increases the amount of knowledge that you will observe, but also working through exercises will really help you internalize concepts more. And of course, the best way to learn is by teaching. By teaching something, you completely internalize the concepts that you're teaching very quickly. So again, as you watch these videos, I'm going to take time to make it as if you're having conversation, as if I'm sitting right in front of you and we're having that one-on-one talk where I'm going to try to convey these lessons to you in a personal way. And a lot of you may know that I already don't like to show PowerPoint slides because I think it's not personal. So let's just have a dialogue. Let's talk. I may have some scenarios later where I already printed or type, so you can read it more as a reference, so that you don't have to write down exactly each scenario, but you can look at it. But for now, just pay attention to my voice and the things that I want to communicate to you. Every company has different core values that are important for them. And some of these core values are specific to a company. So there are company core values, and there are also core values attached to different roles. So for example, a marketing role in order to be successful at a marketing role, may require different core values than being an effective backend developer, right? All roles will have, but all roles in a company will have some common core values that's really important for the company. Also depends on the culture, right? On some company, core value of being honest may be more important than the core value of being proactive, or vice versa. So this also depends on the company, on the role, but I try to list some general core values that I think are applicable regardless of what company you're a part of. And to me, one of the most important core value is being proactive. Because for me, if you lack the skill sets, that's forgivable. You can learn it. But if you lack the skill sets and you're not proactive and you're not going extra miles, something is very wrong with that situation. Being proactive, you can fill a lot of the talent gap or the skill gap. But if you are not proactive and you're lazy or not hardworking, then I don't care. Even if you're talented, you're missing the deadlines, you're not doing a good enough job on the project, and you're not being proactive and you're not going extra miles, it doesn't work. But being proactive means a lot more than going extra miles, putting in extra work when you're behind. It means way more than that. Okay, some bullet points. First, don't wait to be told what to do. If your supervisor consistently have to follow up with you or have to be the one to initiate new projects, new things, and while you completed a project, so now you're just waiting. Oh yeah, like I finished a project, I did a good job. My supervisor hasn't given me some new projects, so I'm just kind of hanging in there. Yeah, life is good, right? I did a good job, and I'm just gonna wait until I'm told what to do. Horrible! Don't ever do that. Don't do that. You're wasting your life by just being complacent. You can do a lot more, not only for yourself, but for the organization by being proactive. So, in my experience, C-level employees always wait to be told what to do, and supervisors have to manage them very tightly. Do you think supervisors like to manage people tightly and find out what they're working on, how things are going, ask for updates? They don't. A-level players are the one that initiate these meetings. Sometimes they come and they're proactive and say, Michael, I thought about X, Y, and Z, and I would love to be given a challenge to lead that project. Supervisors love that. And of course, you say, I would love to lead that project if it is possible and if that's okay with you, right? Because you gotta honor the supervisor's, authority. So maybe the supervisor has some other more important projects for them or for you. So you got to be considerate, but do not ever just wait to be told what to do. Whenever, and you may have situations where you're just waiting. Don't wait. Be proactive and say, hey, I can do more. What do you need help with? What are some things that I can help you with? I rarely get approached with that question from employees where they say, Michael, I've done my responsibilities. If there is anything else, let me know, but I feel like I can do more. Very rarely. Most of the employees, like, oh, I finished my project, I'm just going to be on standby. Do not be on standby. Do not. Your time's more valuable. That standby is not going to give you that professional growth. Go for that growth by seeking additional responsibilities, seeking for additional ways where you can add more value. Um, I've told employees this, that some employees focus on job descriptions too much. They say, but Michael, my job is to do A, B, and C. This was in the job ad. Yeah, you're right. But job descriptions are, a lot of the times, minimum things that I expect someone to do to not get fired. It's not what I expect an A player to do, it's what I expect, the very minimum, for you not to get fired. So if you're just doing the job duties, something is wrong. It's not right. You gotta proactively seek for more. So what does a good employee do? Or, if you're a contractor, if you're working for a consulting client, what do you do? And you're an A player. You come to work and you ask yourself, what can I do to make the most impact within the responsibilities that I've been given? What can I do to make a difference for the people that I'm serving? And that could be your direct customers, it could be your team, it could be your supervisor. And you ask that question daily, every morning, even on weekends. Sometimes you're thinking about it, not all the time, but sometimes as you're taking walks, you're saying, what can I do to add more value and to better serve the people that are in my responsibilities? And you seek for inspirations and you proactively go after those insights. That will make you an A player. Okay? Be proactive. Don't wait to be told what to do. Second, proactively think about what the next move for your supervisor would be and proactively find ways to save time for the supervisor. Oh, do you know how many conversations I have either over Slack or over email where I get an email, is vague. It's like, Michael, I need to talk to you. I reply, what do you want to talk about? Oh, I want to talk about X, Y, and Z. Okay, what about X, Y, and Z do you want to talk about? And they say, oh, about this and this and this. Okay, all right. When? Oh, anytime next week. So I reply back, okay, this is my calendar. This needless chat back and forth, it makes me so frustrated to receive emails like that. Again, put yourself in my situations. A lot of supervisors would be in similar, spot. They got hundreds of things to do, hundreds of emails to catch up, tons of reports, They're already working overtime. They're spending evenings and weekends. And you think they have time to have those chit chat? They're not your friends. Your supervisor is not your friend. To your friend, you can have a chat like that, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Supervisor doesn't have the time to go back and forth. So if you're going to send an email and you can already kind of guess what the supervisor is going to say, do not waste time in sending that email until you've laid out that move. Right? So in the earlier sections we talked about be proactive, address those things, relay all those things in a short, concise way so that the supervisor can have that conversation or write back something within minutes, preferably within seconds. Okay. Yeah, I can't emphasize how important this is. And new employees make this mistake too much. Sometimes they don't even respond back, which is the worst problem. But when they respond back, they don't leave enough information, and it's what in the corporate world sometimes we call it paper pushing. They're just pushing, but you don't want to paper push with your boss. That you do enough of that, your supervisor is going to get super tired, and they're going to think less of you. And it may not be again truly reflect who you are as a person, but if you put yourself in the supervisor's shoe, you will understand how they don't want to have this chit chat conversation back and forth where don't do that. Anticipate the next move and address that proactively beforehand. Okay, third, if you're asked for an update, we talked about this, you're already late. Out of hundreds of things that I'm thinking about as a supervisor, I had to pick one that I given you weeks ago or days ago and be thinking, hold on, I haven't heard back from you. I wonder what's going on. And I took time to send an email or chat. You're already late. It already means that you weren't proactive in delivering that update. Remember, as a rule of thumb, you could send one communications a day, right? No one minds. At the end of the day, you sent a short update to your supervisor outlining in bullet points some key accomplishments. And even if you don't have questions, you send it just as a brief update. No one would mind. But if you didn't proactively do that and they're asking for an update, already know that, hey, you made a mistake. You weren't proactive enough. Okay? Don't be complacent. Don't wait to be told what to do or ask for an update. Proactively update them. Okay, number 4. Focus on end goals. Focus on results. Not just on task. You got to focus on tasks that were given. Okay, if the supervisor told you to do A, B, and C, make sure you do A, B, and C. Even if you don't agree, just do it. Okay? But some employees just do A, B, and C and do not ask themselves, why is it that the supervisor would want task A, B, and C? What's the end goal here? Why is it that these tasks are important? What are some additional things that the supervisor would find valuable that I can also do or research without spending enormous amount of time, right? So imagine you did A, B, and C, and you said, okay, do you know what? The goal, the final metric or the business outcome or the end result we want is this. And this is why we're doing this, right? So I wonder if I can put a little bit of time into plan D, task D. And if it is something that you can do within a few hours, it's not going to affect your other work, then just go ahead and do it. You don't even need to ask for permission. You can just be proactive. If it is something that would require a few days and it's going to affect other work, maybe in that daily update email that you send to your supervisor, you say, hey, I know you have given me task A, B, and C, but I was thinking task D is something that may also be valuable. So I'm going to proceed and look into that a little bit. If you find that that's not going to be helpful for you, let me know. Or if you have other suggestions, please let me know. And I'd love to find other ways to make your make your workload less or something like that, they will appreciate that. Okay. So again, some employees just focus on exactly what was given. They do not think about why is it that these tasks would be important. What are additional things you can do to add more value? Proactively think about those moves, and it will make you a better contributing member of the team. Okay. One last thing. When providing an update, make sure you met all the instructions from your supervisor. Do not cause your supervisor to have to repeat instructions. I hate this, and I can't emphasize how many of that hundreds of emails or communications that are required of me every day or every week. There are still a lot of percentage where I give an instruction, clear instruction, and only 50% of the instructions were followed. And then I have to respond back and say, hey, what about A, B, and C? And then the employee says, oh, sorry, here it is. And a lot of times, here it is doesn't include the other 50% of the information that's missing. So then I have to follow up again and say, what about this? What about this? What about that? And I have to have that needless conversation. Now, to the employee, it may not seem needless because they only get 2 emails a day. So you're like, oh, I get 5 emails a day compared to 2 emails a day. Not a big deal. I can respond and, I actually like this. But to your supervisor, you added 4 more emails to the list of 300 emails that they have to do. And again, it's 4 p.m. They want to go home in 1 hour, but you sent them a few additional emails. To them, it's going to be very bad. So you don't want to get into that situation. Double check every single email instructions that were given from your supervisor. In the meeting, take notes on every single instruction and do it. Meet all the requirements. And not only be happy with that, be proactive and anticipate additional things that the supervisors will want after you send that report and actively address that. Okay. I want to share some stories. So in Village 88, which is one of the company that I founded, I have a great co-founder. I have a great partner. And there are so many incidences where I given a task. Say, hey, John, why don't you look into X, Y, and Z for me? And there were many times where I said, John, thinking about the end goal, think about what we want to accomplish by the end of the year, I think we should start doing X, Y, and Z. So I'm like, I think this is a good idea. I woke up one morning, I thought this is important. So John listens and he says, Michael, I agree with you. I've also had similar thought. And in fact, a few months ago, I've done this. So let me give you an example. So I said, John, I feel like we really need designers in our Village 88 to work on these projects. So John listens and says, Michael, I agree, and I've been thinking about this, and I also thought that would be important. So something that we did not tell you, because we know you're busy, but a few months ago I took the team to a college fair, and we did this on Saturday. So we volunteered. Me, Mark, Noah, JD, and some other guys. We went to this college fair. It was an all-day college fair. And we did some recruiting and we actually talked to some designers. And we tried to get, some people. So in this case, it wasn't actually designers, but I'm just giving you a hypothetical example. But John actually did attend the college fair, took the team over a weekend. I didn't know about it. They didn't ask for my permission. They didn't need my permission to do something good like that. But they went and they promoted Village 88. And they got some people to apply. And so when I asked John, like, hey, let's look into that, and he said, I agree, it's a good idea, and actually, did it already. How do you think would have react? And I will tell you, that's not the first time something like this happened. Another example. is this is the one actually with the designers. I said, John, I think we need some designers. Our applications are looking as pretty as I think it should be. I think we really should try to get some, designers that can join our team. So John listens and says, Michael, I agree with you. And it was similar. Like I actually did this, and we were gonna give you an update a little bit later on after things progressed. But we held a design competitions at a local college, and we had 20 people enroll. And next week we're going to pick three finalists. Um, so I was listening. I'm like, oh my goodness, what's going on with this guy? This guy is amazing, right? He proactively thought about the end result, the end goal, and he's on the same wavelength. He's a contributing member of my team. And of course, he's the co-founder now. In the beginning, he wasn't. But this attitude that made him a partner in the business because he was always proactively doing things that were that were good for the company, and he did it on the safe side. He still accomplished everything that his team needed to do, and he did these extra things on top, right? If this sacrificed any of the work that he was doing, I would have felt differently. But this, it doesn't compromise any of the work that he was doing. He did this proactively on top of what he was expected to do, and that just made me really, really trust John more and more. And you can do the same thing with your supervisor. If they have to be the one to always come up with ideas, they're gonna get tired. But if you come up with some good ideas and some you actually experiment, because some may not work. So if it didn't work, you don't need to let the supervisor know, they're busy. But if it worked, you can then share some updates, right? Again, you got to be conscious. You can't drop the ball on other projects. But if you do things like that, you will earn trust. And more trust that you have, more freedom you will gain. If you don't have enough trust, you won't have as much freedom, right? So how do you get more freedom at work? Do more. Be more proactive. Think about the end result. Do not just focus on tasks. Think about the end outcome that your supervisor wants you to achieve. And also think about how you can, if there are other ways you can go about to achieve the end result. And try to get the supervisors involved in that thought process, right? Okay, so I hope that gives you some examples. Below, I'll have a few scenarios where we will talk about each of the scenario, what went well or what didn't go so well, so you can truly internalize these concepts.